Recently, the creators of the Balatro Multiplayer mod hosted the first ever tournament, and being quite experienced with the mod, I decided to join. The tournament started with a qualifier round with 4 groups, and the winner of each group makes it to the finals. I was placed in the Hearts group with 7 other competitors and would have to place first to move on. If you're unfamiliar with the Balatro Multiplayer mod, it puts players head to head in the same seed, and each boss blind is replaced with a PvP blind where you face off and try to beat the other player's score. The first person to run out of lives loses. My first match was against a player with similar experience to me, Big Bill, and the match started with a choice between a holographic pareidolia giving easy malt with a chance for synergies later, or open the buffoon pack in case there is something better. I opted to play safe and check the buffoon pack, and after deciding hack would be less useful than the holographic joker early on, I sold it and purchased pareidolia. With the plus 10 malt, the big blind was a breeze, and I moved on to the PvP blind with just a single joker. And luckily it was enough, and after some decent luck on my draws, I was able to just score higher than my opponent.
Close. Either way, it's gonna be close. I'm trying to think what joker you took. Dang.
The next ante started with an econ joker, which I could hopefully use to get my funds up for the rest of the run. And in the rest of the ante, I was able to pick up a couple more scoring jokers and a hanging chad, which can be a very strong joker in multiplayer. In the PvP blind, it was just enough to keep the edge and win the round again. I was feeling pretty confident at this point with the lead on my opponent, but I didn't quite have a good build to put together and would need something more to maintain this lead. Knowing this, I decided to pivot and sell my malt joker for card sharp, as I had found some good deck fixing and still had some malt from pareidolia, which I somehow kept this whole time. Though with this pivot, I'm not sure if I will still be ahead of my opponent, so I decided to play it safe and play as many pairs as I could, hoping the chips from the hanging chads and spades would be enough. And with my opponent scoring less than they did the previous ante, I was now in a very comfortable position with 4 lives remaining and Big Bill on just 1. In the next ante, there wasn't much to offer in the shops, though I made a couple of small changes and finally sold pareidolia, and it was now time for what was hopefully the final face-off of the match. With my first hand drawing a 3 of a kind, I opted to play it and hope for more so I can trigger card sharp for 3x malt. But on my last hand I must have forgot, as I played a 4 of a kind instead of a 3 of a kind, not triggering card sharp for that 3x, but thankfully with the re-triggers on the lucky cards I was still able to score 65,000 chips, which should be enough to win the round.
It's so over for me. GG. GG, dude.
Looks like
Ooh,
Big Bill might be winning here.
Yeah. I think they should, the player on the right should have the 8 to the left, because it's worth more chips.
Oh wow,
Even with
yeah.
walking. Probably. Oh, or you can gamble lucky cards.
Or before, like, yeah, with gambling more, and then you have,
Well,
They
they
had
made
20
20
bucks.
bucks, but
I
that's
didn't-
not the thing they wanted to proc.
Yeah.
but that's not the mold.
Oh wow,
Oh, just
they pulled it through.
And winning.
Well, it seems I made a bigger mistake playing that 4 of a kind than I thought, and Bill was able to beat my score by just 2,000 chips. I would need to pay a lot more attention now, and in the next shop I picked up a golden ticket, which paired with hanging chad and dusk would hopefully give me enough money to give me an advantage. And in the final shop of the ante, we both found something quite interesting. I think you're laughing at the same thing.
I was hoping you didn't open it. I was really hoping.
Though Canio is one of the best jokers in the game, it starts off with a 1x malt, meaning unless I found a way to destroy some face cards, it wouldn't be much use at all. But with all the funds I built up with golden ticket, I was able to re-roll and find a hanged man, which when combined with the fool would be able to get the Canio up to 5x. Hoping this was enough, I readied up for the face-off and used my hangman as soon as I could and fished for a 5 of a kind. And though I was able to find it, the score to beat was still 110,000, which I was unsure if I could score that high.
Alright, we have a final one.
We
me
might
see.
see. Let's see. Can this do it? I don't know.
Nothing unusual,
It's 5 of a
honestly,
kind.
on anti-sig. That's what I'm looking at.
They did get the 20 gold even if they don't win this. But they do anyway.
I had now won my first match and was in the running for first place, but to keep this up, I would have to beat my next opponent, B. This match started almost exactly the same as the last, with a choice between a holographic and a buffoon pack, and I did the same thing as I did the first time, checking the buffoon pack and selling Scary Face to pick up the holographic Clever Joker. This would be more than enough to carry me through the ante, so after picking up a Cloud9 in the next shop for some early econ, it was now time for the first face-off. Assuming my opponent had the same Joker as me, I tried to play as optimal as I could, but it wasn't enough as they were able to play one more flush than me, putting me down to 3 lives. In the following shop, I used a Judgment, which I would normally pass, but checking every chance at a Joker is very important in multiplayer, because when both players are on the same seed, you need to find any way you can to gain an advantage. And in this case, it gave me Showman, which is not an advantage at the moment, but can be later down the line. Unable to find any other scoring jokers, the Clever Joker carried me through the ante, and I was off to the next face-off with only a Clever Joker for scoring, and it seemed B had the same problem as she still had only one Joker at this point. And even though we had the same Joker, I had been able to do some deck fixing and play a strong flush, which won me the round. This next ante had an Oops All Sixes in it, and even though I had no Jokers that worked with it, I did have a lucky card, making it a good pickup for some decent econ and scoring if I'm lucky. Sadly, the Showman didn't give me anything worth taking, and I only picked up a holographic Scholar, which would not do much as I had very few aces. But apparently this is all I would need, as B still had just the Clever Joker and nothing else.
Oh my god. No, like every single time I see that single Joker, I'm like, oh
Yeah,
my
wait,
god,
what is
man.
happening with this single Joker? What's going on?
So I was able to easily take this round, and in the following shop, Showman finally paid off and gave me a second Oops All Sixes, which doesn't work with any of my Jokers still, but now lucky cards have a 3 in 5 chance to give 20 malt and a 1 in 5 chance to give $20. All I needed now was a Joker for them to work with, and though it's not a perfect synergy, I was able to find Ancient Joker, which is a very strong Joker, especially with an already leveled up flush. And the next shop helped even more with a Hanging Chad, which not only gives more chances for lucky cards to hit, but it also triggers Ancient Joker an additional 2 times.
Especially with the Ancient Joker, that's actually a sick combo. Oh yeah, and they have Justice. Oh my god, they're gonna destroy their opponent this blind if they use the Justice.
And though B had the same shops as me, I was still quite confident, especially with my glass card, and even though B had managed to get some Jokers by this point, there was no chance they were going to score 500,000 chips. I was now up 3-1 once again and had a very strong build, and it only got even stronger in the next ante with an Invisible Joker, potentially duplicating a Hanging Chad or Ancient Joker, which would exponentially scale my score. In the last shop, I rerolled down and found another Justice, then readied up for the face-off with my Ancient Joker on diamonds, which I had already built around, and it was smooth sailing from there.
I
But double
believe
chance.
they're about to win though, so
Yeah.
yeah, they're about to win.
Yeah.
That is a crazy build.
Yeah, pretty much.
That is
That's crazy, man.
that is
Alright,
top of
then
three.
one was Ray also.
yeah.
I was now 2-0 and tied for first, which means if I won this next match, I would move on to the finals, and my opponent was Aura. This match would decide the winner, and I decided to start risky with my first skip of the day for an investment tag giving $25 after finishing the boss blind. And in the big blind shop, I found a couple of tarot cards along with Zany Joker, so if I could win this blind, I would start with a very big advantage. Aura was seeming to score very similar to me, which means they likely also only had a Zany Joker, which was a good sign, meaning there wasn't anything strong in the first shop. But I did have one thing to score higher here, if I was lucky, and somehow both of my lucky cards triggered, one for money and one for malt, winning me the round and stumping the casters.
Wait, is that a
I
bug?
mean-
No. There's no way they should have $54. Was it doubled because of? They had
We want to see what happens. We'll watch a replay, Pete. No, that was a single attack.
There was no double tag.
It was investment then polychrome.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How they got all that money?
Like
Wait, which game is
Yeah,
this?
'cause-
This is
Yeah, because they had $54, which seems like way too much.
Hey, I'm just coming in here to verify something. We were just asking about the amount of money you had after the last boss blind and where you got it because we were very confused.
I skipped the first blind for the
For the investment tag.
and then the lucky card procced.
And then a lucky card procced. Okay, thank you for that.
he
A lucky card
doesn't need
procced
it.
is what happened.
Oh, okay.
Okay, I'm
yeah.
sorry. Yeah, it
We were
happened.
confused.
I was now in the second ante with a good amount of money in the bowl to put it towards. Though later on I did not make a smart choice and sold the bowl for a second econ joker. The reason I did this is because sometimes it could be bad to not spend money in multiplayer because blueprint could just be a reroll away. I was now in an awkward spot as I want to keep my gold cards in hand for the money, but the blackboard doesn't work if there's any diamond or heart cards. But for now, I was just focusing on playing face cards as I could make it through the blinds with just Zany Joker. Though in the boss blind, I decided to go for scoring instead of keeping the gold cards and was able to draw a 4 of a kind with all enhanced kings and played it forgetting the enhancements would be removed from Faceless Joker and losing me the fight. This awkwardness between Blackboard and Faceless Joker continued in the next ante, and I lost a life to the small blind, as I could not make up my mind on what Joker to go for. Aura was now in the lead, so I would need to switch things up if I wanted a chance to win. So in the next shop, I sold the Faceless Joker and picked up Half Joker along with Acrobat, which is much more straightforward. Just go for 3 of a kind on my last hand, with no hearts or diamonds in hand. But it seems Faceless Joker was still haunting me and tempting me with all the gold cards. So I decided to go for Econ this face-off, and drew 8 gold cards. But after seeing Aura's score, I thought there was a chance I could beat it with Acrobat, so I played a 5 of a kind with Kings and scored a third of their score. Meaning if I had went for Blackboard, I would have won that face-off. Though this was still a good sign, meaning I could still score just as high as Aura. And in the next shop, I got rid of Blackboard for good and picked up Hologram, as there was a card pack in the shop allowing me to build it up right away. Now, I could easily beat the blinds with gold cards in hand and not worry. But I was only on 1 life now, so I would need that money to pay off quick. And with it, in the next shop, I made a lot of changes, having entirely different jokers now, and in the next shop after that again, I rerolled down and changed all the jokers once more. Heading into this face-off, I now had a decent build. 15 malt from Gross Michael, 3x malt from Acrobat, re-triggers from Dusk and Hanging Chad, and 3x malt from Card Sharp. If I got some good hands here, I could score very high. I would need to draw 2 4 of a kinds to have a chance to win, and sadly, I wasn't able to find it. So, I sold my jokers and conceded the round to Aura, putting me in second place, meaning I would not be moving on to the finals. Unfortunately, I made a lot of little mistakes that round and couldn't hone in on one thing, but I still had a lot of fun and this won't be the last tournament. So if you would like to sign up for the next, I'll leave a link to the Discord in the description, or if you're just interested in the mod, you can also find it there. It is getting updated very frequently and there's a lot planned for it, so I hope to see you there. Bye.